All right,
Right.
everyone, welcome to Keeping It Real Conversations with Sunshine. I am your host, Camila, aka Sunshine. It is Thursday, December the 9th, 2021. Again, we are live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, a lot of all of these good stuff places. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. It is the name of the show. Again, my biggest thing is I believe in 6 degrees of separation. You're one person away, one advice away, one help away from where you need to be in your destiny. I just got off one and I'm in with another powerful man. I'm so excited for this interview. We have been trying to get this conversation for a couple of months now.
Yes.
And usually when I was doing my show on Saturdays, he was doing his show, so we wasn't able to connect. And then I can't remember what happened the last time. No, I think somebody passed away, I think.
Yeah.
And so we had to reschedule. And now we're finally here to be able to have this wonderful conversation. And when I tell you, I am in awe because of the achievements he has made. He's making a name for himself, not only for the city of Detroit, but internationally. I'm sitting here in awe, like I should have my notebook, my notepad, taking notes on how how I need to come up. So, Mr. Canty.
Yes, ma'am. You know what? Thank you for having me on. Thank you. It's a pleasure. I'm gonna let you lead. It's so hard for me not to lead an interview because I'm so used to it. Do you have that hard time too?
I do sometimes. It all depends on who I'm talking to.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm in awe. Usually when I say 6 degrees of separation, I never met you in person, but I have been watching your show for a minute now. When I began to, the idea was brought to me to do an actual podcast.
Hmm.
You were out there and I was watching you.
Wow.
Um, I don't even know how we became friends on Facebook. I have no idea.
You
I just
interviewed Angela Davis.
Davis. Okay.
Yeah, and
I
so
see. I don't remember.
from there, yeah.
Um, so, and when we say Angela Davis is a singer, awesome singer, part of Soul, which will
Hmm.
be on in a couple of weeks.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
They will be back on the show actually. And
Hmm.
so I had Angela on when I first started doing this, and Angela and Jarvis was I guess on the live on the talking. So
Yeah.
after that, I was like, okay, who is this? And so I began to reach out to him. So again, here's the connection to 6 degrees of separation of how he's here today.
Yeah.
So I had so many questions. So let's get into this conversation since we both do what we do.
Hmm.
We both ask questions. We both love to have just the conversation of not just because of entertainment purposes, but
Hmm.
also to bring knowledge, to bring connection to everyone that's have the ability to hear us. So, have you had any like formal conversations or formal schooling, like communications or journalism?
So the funny thing is, I didn't,
Mm-hmm.
and but the thing is, I've always kind of been in that vein of being able to like hold. I love talking to people. I'm just a people person, and
Mm-hmm.
so I never took any classes. I never did anything that was in this vein, because my background is business, and so I never really got. And one day during the pandemic, it happened. And again, I'm so used to hosting events and that kind of thing. So it kind of made it easy for me to kind of make the transition. But I was gonna have a showcase right before the pandemic, right when the pandemic started. And so
Okay.
when the pandemic started, they started shutting everything down. So I said, well, let's just try to do something live on Instagram.
Okay.
just to see if anybody will watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So I invited a few people on, did a little mini interview, and then I let them sing. And it took off from there. It was supposed to be a one and done. We were supposed to do it one time. And from that time, fast forward, I've done over 250 interviews within the time of the pandemic.
Wow.
Yeah,
So impressive. You sent me a list of all the awards
man.
that you are, and I'm like, you see my face?
Yeah.
So I'm when I tell you I'm excited because these are I can't physically put my hands on you,
Mhm.
but I'm watching the pattern. I'm watching because this is something eventually I can see happening for myself. Because
Absolutely.
here you are, you're doing the pattern for me that
Mhm.
I can sit here and say, okay, now watch this,
Mhm.
listen, and learn. And you
Yep.
take a course from anything from you make it your own, however that choose to be.
Mhm.
So being a fellow podcaster, what is
Mhm.
something that you feel is sometimes very difficult to do?
So I think for me, being able to, because I know I can engage the people that come on, but it's so hard to reach out. For me, I'm kind of shy when it comes to reaching out to people. And
Really?
yeah, and so what happened is, like during the pandemic, in my mind, the first thing that I thought about was these people are stuck in the house just like us. So why not reach out to them? So I did that. I typed up a letter, made it very professional, made it seem very official. And it just happened. My first interview with a celebrity, and I've interviewed some amazing people, local celebrities. I've interviewed a lot of the local celebrities in Detroit, but my first mainstream interview was with Melba Moore.
Mm-hmm.
Her manager reached out to me and said Miss Moore wanted an interview. And I'm like, oh, okay, because she was watching on Instagram. And
Okay.
I think that's the beauty of social media. You never know who's watching, and you never know who's
Absolutely.
going to tune in to hear what you're saying. And so I did the interview with her, and it kind of gave me the confidence I needed or that I was lacking, because I said, well, if she can do it, let me reach somebody else. And let me reach somebody else. And it just started happening and snowballing just like that. When I first started, I was only interviewing friends of mine, people that I
Mm-hmm.
knew musically, and we would talk and they would sing. And that's what we would do. And so from there, it just started snowballing, snowballing. And I'm just like, this thing is really kind of happening. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
never expected it. I never expected it.
I agree. All I can say for me, I saw the interview. I think I said this before.
Hmm.
I saw the interview of the young gospel artist Kalante Gavin.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And he was ministering about how he had been molested and nobody in the church knew.
Yeah.
And he was stating that he was baffled by it because you're around all these powerful, and no one picked it up.
Yeah.
And he was telling his testimony, and I said, see, that's what I need. This is where it really did something to my spirit.
Yeah.
He helped deliver some people,
Hmm.
but he also let the world know y'all missed it.
Yeah.
And the thing that got me was not only was he confused at one point in his sexuality,
Hmm.
he was saying, well, I got this gift, but I'm broken. And so I was like, okay, here it is.
Hmm.
We got to be able to be honest and tell the truth.
Absolutely.
Keeping it real is
Yep.
what's going to help a lot of people
Absolutely.
instead of hiding it behind closed doors as if
Hmm.
nothing's wrong. And
Yep.
it is. And
You, you,
so here we are. I said,
Mhm.
okay, I'm about to do this. I ain't never did this before, but I'm gonna step out
Absolutely.
here. So this
Yeah.
was a year ago this month,
Mhm.
a year ago. So in January
Mhm.
of 2020, God told me I was gonna become the help I once needed.
Wow.
I was gonna become the help I once needed, meaning in the situations that I was going through, been through, surviving through,
Mhm.
sometimes I didn't have nobody to talk to.
Yeah.
I didn't get the help or go here, go there, dust yourself off, all of these things. So what got me the most of why I do what I do is
Yeah.
because I'm a natural born connector. I'm a natural born leader as
Me
well.
too. Yeah.
So here we are. I'm connecting you to people that have survived,
Yeah.
that have a story to tell.
Yeah.
They're not just telling you the end and the beginning of their story. They telling you the whole thing. So, baby, you don't have to keep doing the same thing you're doing. Listen, I did
Absolutely.
it for you.
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing, that I find with people, and unfortunately in our community, the Black community, I think that as children, we're taught to first of all respect our elders. And in respecting our elders, we're also taught to keep our mouths shut and get out of grown folks' conversations. We're taught to not tell quote unquote family secrets and things that happen
Yes.
within our families. And so many of us Black folks are broken because we're hiding. We're taught to pretty much cover up or hide or defend the people that hurt us the most. You don't tell family secrets, and those family secrets are being molested by someone in the family, being abused by somebody in the family. And you're taught, you're in the one point you're being told, if somebody ever touches you or do this, then you come to me and
Come
tell
and
me.
tell me. Yeah.
But when I do try and come to tell the conversation and I'm 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, you tell me to stay in a child's place, especially when you're talking about somebody in the family, because now you're telling a family secret. And there's so many families that know things are happening, but they don't want to deal with it. So they sweep it under the rug. And so you have damaged people like me. You have damaged people like Kalante. You have damaged people who walk around, and we could be so great, but we're so afraid because we're taught to be afraid. You know what I'm saying? We're taught to cover up the people that hurt us the most. You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, when I started writing, I changed the names to protect the guilty. And that's what we do. We protect the guilty. And so a child's innocence is taken, but we're not supposed to tell the story because now you're telling family secrets.
Mhm.
It's that generational thing, and those generational things grow up and they snowball, and then we start being dysfunctional with other
Yes.
people. We start being dysfunctional with our relationships. We don't know what area to go to. And then we learn, for me, it was hard because I didn't trust anybody. I didn't trust anybody after I went through that, and constantly hiding myself because I didn't want the exposure. But can you imagine what it would be like if we were able to just be who we were called to be without having to hide when somebody tries to stop that or when somebody tampers with that?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So what we do is a service. I look at all the podcasters that's coming out of Detroit. I look at you. I look at Rocky. I think Rocky is absolutely phenomenal. But I watch the stories that people tell when you all have conversations with them. And for my show, I try to keep it light. You know what I'm saying? I try to keep it light, but it always goes back to, this was my life and this is what happens. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it's important what we do. And even if we may reach 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, or if we reach 3,000, 4,000, 10,000, As long as we can reach one person within that number, then I think we're doing what we're called to do. And I think that, we can save somebody because we weren't able to save ourselves. We weren't able to kind of get in there and see what happened to us and talk about
it. It took a long time to get here.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
And to be able to tell the story and not necessarily be attached to the story like as if it just happened yesterday.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time when you come on, there's nothing wrong with counseling. There's nothing wrong with different outlets. The show last night, going out and doing modeling helped me to find another part of Camila that I didn't even know existed. Yes, I did modeling before, but this was a different one. When you have had heartache, disappointment, all of these negative things for so long, you have unconsciously became conditioned.
You have.
And so when you have stepped out and said, enough is enough, and my God has delivered me, baby, I ain't going back. And I'm going to tell you the pitfalls.
Yeah.
The things in areas that I have recognized that I had a part in it.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that no more. When you can say, honestly, look, I'm going to tell you this. All prostitutes don't walk the streets.
Man, let me tell you something. let me and see, now you in the area that's real sensitive to me, because I'm gonna tell you something. There are people who talk about a prostitute, but then they prostitute people. You know what I'm saying? And you got them on the street, you got them on the TV, you got them in the pulpit, you got them all over the place. They will prostitute every gift you have, but the moment that you try to expose what's been done or dealt with you, they will shut you down. And that's not to condemn anybody's church, not to condemn anybody's pastor, not to condemn anybody's family, whatever. But the bottom line is, I think that there are so many people who utilize the prostitute, but they do it secretly so nobody will know. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not speaking specifically of a person who walks the street or sleeps around or whatever.
They fail to realize, and I had to explain it, and I said it in the church before. All prostitutes don't walk the street. What is the definition of a prostitute? What is the definition of prostituting? It's an exchange. It's an
exchange, yeah.
For the service or the good.
Absolutely.
Or something else.
Or something else in exchange for something else.
Okay. Yep. So it's not necessarily we have deemed it to the streets, but it happens all the time. So again, we have the serious conversations. We've had people on the show that was out there strung on drugs, had HIV. God bless them somehow where the sale didn't multiply, where they wasn't able to give the disease to someone else, not their husband, not their children. I said, so not only will we have people on here to tell the truth, you're going to get testified. They're going to testify how God is good.
You know what? And what I love about it is that it's in an arena or an area that is not orthodox. So if we do a podcast, people tune in for a podcast just to hear a conversation, but they don't realize that even in the midst of those conversations that they're able to kind of break off some of the stuff that we've been through. I know that in some of the conversations that I've had on my show, I have been able to break some things off of myself just by having a conversation with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And so I think us being able to communicate is so powerful. And I'm going to say something to encourage you too. There are people who will never watch intentionally to support, to give, to offer something to what you're doing. But I guarantee you they're watching. You know, it's amazing how you can be on social media and you could be having, like you and I are having a conversation right now. And no matter how many people we impact, how many people, you know, we reach, we can send out an invitation for people to watch. And 2 of those 20 people will click on. So you look at the number of people that are tuning in and watching right now. And then when you go off of it and look at the number, you can have 500 people that viewed it, but only 2 people are actually clicking on to watch it. You know what I'm saying? And I think we have a platform. I think with the platform that we have a responsibility to people, you know, and even though, you know, we try to have fun conversations sometimes, those fun conversations, to me, this is still, in my opinion, is still a ministry. You
Absolutely.
know, no matter what we're talking about, if it's secular music, gospel music, if we're talking about whatever, I think that it's still somebody's ministry. And I think that we have a responsibility to encourage somebody in any way that we can encourage them with a
Absolutely.
serious or fun conversation, however we do it.
I bring you know, a lot of people ask the question or they'll say, so what's the difference between your podcast and someone else's? And the only thing that I can say is it's yours. It's a part of you. It's your personality. It's what you love. It's what the walk of life that you had to endure. Yep. And then you'll be able to share those things, whether it's the good, the bad, or the ugly. You see it all. Absolutely. You're looking at someone who was a tomboy the majority of their life, to married for 16 years, got a divorce, all types of crazy stuff. Now I'm remarried and I'm more happier now than I ever been in my life. To constantly every day blossoming right before your eyes. You looking at someone who really didn't wear makeup, to doing my own makeup now, to you different things like that. Like, you gotta have that triumph story. Like any movie. My life is coming, like unfolding, and every person that comes on has a part of the 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah. You know what it is?
You're a part of it.
You accepted your freedom. And for me, I'm gonna tell you, doing this podcast, when I started my podcast, it opened up a whole new door to freedom for me. A door that I otherwise wouldn't have embraced. You know what I'm saying? Like hosting events, when somebody invites me to host an event or I host my own event, it's one thing because we're there for that purpose. But on this, you know, you got to fill in spaces when somebody ain't talking. You got to do all this stuff, but you're still able to reach people who couldn't be in the room. They couldn't be in the room, but we're able to reach them. You know, and I think it's awesome. I just think social media is amazing. It doesn't have to be a mess. You know what I'm saying? And some people make
because people choose to. You know, just like in real life. If you a partier, you know where the parties are. You already know the players or whatever the case may be. If you don't live that type of lifestyle, you know the same way with social media. I'm not watching that. I'm not going, you know, this is where you are.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I love the fact that I love to help people. Yeah. So on my personal pages, as well as this, I bring people on to promote their products, promote music, whether it's health, their diet, your self-worth, all of these things that the average person might not get. Yeah. Yeah. I don't charge anyone.
Yeah, me either.
Let alone you might go somewhere else and you got to pay to advertise. You got to do this. It's here. It's free here. Yeah. I don't censor. Like, I have people that be like, aren't you afraid that they're going to say anything? I mean, listen, I don't have a censor button. If they're at their house, I can't control what they're doing at their house. Yeah. I've had people on my show that was high as a kite. Yeah. Who was drinking, smoking. That doesn't include or say that that's going to take away from what they're saying.
But I think the thing is, you have to meet people where they are. Everybody ain't coming polished. Everybody can't be polished. Everybody can't look a certain way, walk a certain way, act a certain way. And I tell people, I haven't had people who just go constant dropping F-bombs and this, that, and the
Yeah,
other on my show. But if part of your story makes you cuss, what's in you gonna come out. I
absolutely.
don't care what it is. What's in you is gonna come out. Let them have that freedom if you inviting them to your home. You know what I'm saying? Now, you don't invite them to your home to tear your home apart, but if they come to your home, you want them to feel welcome.
Welcome. Yes.
You know?
That's just like anything else that I people sometimes be like, well, look, their sexuality has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
I don't mind to judge them. I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
That been the same thing. And they point a finger at, oh, you had sex with 50 million people. Okay. And
yeah. I think I was having a conversation with somebody and I was telling her, I said, if people walked out of this pandemic still judging people the same way they did
crazy.
before it started, they missed the whole mark.
The whole point.
They missed the whole mark. If you're still treating people dirty, being dirty to people, acting like you're better than anybody, acting like you've arrived, you're this, you're that. If you act like you're above anybody in this moment, you miss the whole purpose of this sit down from God.
Absolutely.
You
those moments of really understanding the precious moment of air, your breath, and life. When you have not only survived COVID,
lost people,
lost things. When you have walked out and still have your mind,
man, let me tell you, it's nothing.
You have your mind.
There is nothing.
I could have lost my mind.
Yep.
I could have been in the psych ward. When I tell you, the things that and I have a book and they still got to get edited and all that good stuff. But I tell you, God asked me a question over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Do prayer change things? Now I'm gonna say this. At the time, I didn't personally know any pimps or prostitutes. So I thought.
So you thought.
So I thought.
Absolutely.
God had me write a book about following the life of a pimp and a prostitute.
Wow.
And he asked the question, does prayer change things? When I sit back and I realize you was the prostitute. Not only was you the prostitute, but you was prostituted. By those you trusted. Absolutely. How does that concept even work? It's because most of the time it's with somebody you trusted. That's just like you're not gonna willingly go into a haunted house knowing that there's danger there. Unless you like thrills. Unless you like being scared. But he had to come to me in a friendly state. So I wouldn't put up a fight. So I wouldn't do none of these things to make it seem like I'm going against the grain. So, Mr. Canty, we're here to shine a light for those who are still in the dark, who don't see it. So we have to be able to connect people, give them resources, tell the truth, and be honest. So now they can actually take upon themselves, look, do I choose to continue to be hurt? Or do I don't want to be healed?
Jesus.
Whatever that means.
Yep.
Whatever that means. What do it take for me to be healed? Enough crying. Enough of going to bed by yourself and feeling like I don't have hope no more. Yes, you do.
Yeah. Yep.
Every person that has graced this stage, I'm saying stage,
yeah,
has had a moment in life where they was like, my back was against the wall. God came and rescued me. And now I get to tell it.
Right.
I can't help but to tell it. Thank God I don't look like what I used to.
Man. Yep.
If you would have asked me a couple of years ago, I look like death. I have people literally, I have a Facebook testimony thing out there that I look like death. To now, I don't say sunshine for no reason.
Absolutely.
I don't smile for no reason. I got a reason. So yes, wherever stage I go, wherever God takes me, I'm taking the Lord with me.
You have to.
I'm not going to dumb down.
Nope.
I don't care if I'm talking to millionaires. I don't care if I'm talking to the guy down the street.
But I think that's
I'm not going to change.
But I think that's why we can be trusted with what we do.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? God can trust us with it because it's what we're called to do, but he can trust us to still represent. No matter what form or fashion we're doing things in, he can trust us.
So from my understanding, the book.
Yeah.
Hush 2.
Hush 2, breaking the cycle, the cycle of silence around sexual abuse. Yeah, it's I got it right here, but it's an anthology book, and it's 6 different people telling our stories about our experience with sexual abuse. And it's my hope that when people read the book, they're able to identify something about themselves. They're able to see something familiar in their situation. And from that, they're able to find an outlet to free themselves. And it doesn't take as long as it did me. You know, I never talked about it. I hid it. I didn't tell anybody. I was actually molested twice, but I was also raped. You know, and all those years, again, I covered it up because it was something that I was so ashamed of. You know what I'm saying? You know, I think we're taught as men, you know, men don't get raped. That don't happen. Men don't get molested, you know. But when it happened to me, it changed my whole person. It changed my confidence. It changed everything about me. And I think that there are so many people who could actually be free from something if they're able to talk about it, if they're able to tell their story, if they're able to kind of express, this is what happened to me, this is how it made me feel, this is what it brought me to.
So let me ask you this. So because it happened years ago, do you feel that a lot of people might be still waiting for the apology?
You know what? I think a lot of people do wait for the apology, but a lot of people still carry shame. You know what I'm saying? And so when you find broken people oftentimes are not loud. Broken people ain't making a bunch of noise. Broken people are trying to hide. Broken people are trying to stay away from everything. And I'll tell you, I've been in like the acting and the theater community in Detroit. I've been in this for only 5 years. Only 5 years. Before that, I was quiet. You know what I'm saying? And in getting into all of the arts and the things that we do, I was pretty much quiet. I would do little things for like church and different people if they asked me to do something. But this gave me it gave me a boldness to tell what was wrong with me. Because as a person that's broken people get tired of being broken. Broken people don't like being broken, but broken people need an outlet that'll kind of show us how to overcome what we went through, because a lot of people ain't talking to us because we're quiet. You know what I'm saying? If I could talk about every story that has happened to me in my life, it would be mind blowing. It would blow some people's minds, but every testimony is not for every moment. And there's some things that you just cannot tell. I don't look like what I've been through, and I don't look like what I did. You know what I'm saying? So when you
That
talk
part.
about everything that you went through, I thank God. I ain't the finest man in the world, but I don't look like what I did and what I've been through. I don't look like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, when you get to a place where you can find some freedom in everything that you've been through and everything that you've experienced, things start falling off. Start falling off. When I was writing that book, I cried the entire time, but I sat down in one session and wrote that. But I was it made me angry. It made me fearful. I revisited everything that I felt in every one of those moments.
Mhm.
And it made me think about people who are dealing with it right now, and they can't say nothing. They can't say a word. I don't want people to be like me. And you wait until you get 50 years old to start doing, the things that you're called or destined to do.
And also, too, just to help some people out, you probably are not the only victim that they did this to.
Well, I later found out that I wasn't.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna leave it right there.
Yeah, because that's for a whole nother situation, because this book is so new for me. A lot of my family members haven't read it, and a whole lot of them probably will never read it. But if they do read it or have read it, I want them to ask questions. And in the book, I changed the names to protect the guilty, because while I'm dealing with my story, the world don't need to know what that story was completely. They don't need to know the names, because a lot of people use it to shame people. And for me, I don't want to shame the people that hurt me. I want to free myself from the people that hurt me. You know what I'm saying? And so in that, I never want to be in a position, where I can't tell the story, or I can't talk to somebody and tell them, okay, this is what I went through, but you can break free from it.
And also, to also help people, when you've been through these situations, you
Mm-hmm.
can see it on others, especially kids and teenagers. You can almost pinpoint, yeah, that girl's been touched. Yes, that boy has been touched. It's the mannerisms, it's their conversations, their body language, it's all of it that sometimes as adults we ignore because we don't want to deal with it, or you just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm saying, as a cry to the human race,
Yeah.
pay attention. Our kids tell us things in the way they figure they won't get in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they're acting out. Their sleeping habits are changed. It's a lot of different ways that we ignore as adults.
Let me tell you what I think is so awesome. My daughter has two children.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter, I think she's so incredible. And I'm not just saying it because she's my daughter. I think it's so incredible because she allows her children to tell her everything. You know what I'm saying? She still has control as a parent, but she allows her children to tell everything, their feelings, what they're experiencing. She doesn't allow them to hide anything. And because of that, I feel like if more people or parents were that way, you know what I'm saying? Because you can still control your children, but you still can give them freedom too.
To speak, yeah, without
Those
being
babies,
disrespectful. Yes.
yeah, and they're respectful, they're smart, they're excelling. And I thank God that they're not dealing with, and I pray that God continues to shield them from things, that would damage or hurt them. And I pray that they never have the experience of being touched or that, because they're free, and she makes them able to come to them, and they don't have to feel ashamed when they do.
And that's the truth of, the safety. Um, and I always go back to this. It does take a village.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing, um, when the village got broke up is when we started turning a deaf ear and a blind eye.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got into the place where you don't say nothing to mine, I won't say nothing to yours.
And biggest damage ever.
It began to allow basically the devil, the demons, to move into the neighborhood. I remember my dad used to tell me I was always developed. And so dad was like, listen, if such and such is around and such ain't there, leave. Yeah. There's no moments of, you're not about to catch my daughter up. And a lot of times, because my siblings and I were close in age, you don't go nowhere without this one. Somebody got some eyes.
You sure know.
Somebody's finding something. Now, of course, there was those moments, but again, we have to get back to caring for one another.
Yeah.
We can't do this by ourselves. We can't do this on our own. Not only with the single mothers, nowadays, single fathers. It's not just that. It's everybody has a part in what's going on. Yep. If we get out of being selfish and give, your time, your ear, it just be able to smile at somebody makes a difference. Yeah. And so we have to get back to that, whether it's taking the kids to school, giving the mom a break, the father a break. I said I wanted to continue to be a part of my niece and nephew that live here lives more than I have been, because again, they're growing up, and next thing you know, they're going to be out.
Yeah.
Give my sister and my brother-in-law a break sometimes. I remember my aunties and uncles coming over just to visit, play with us, take us, out. Our first circus, our first rodeo, my auntie took me.
Yeah.
And so those type of things, look, let's find out what we did. Like last weekend, I spent the weekend, a day with my niece and nephew, my sister, and I did her makeup. She's 13. And I did her makeup, and she was like, Auntie, she really had a good time. And so my nephew, we played games, we watched Sing 2. I brought my coloring books and all. Look, I don't know what y'all into, but
I got something for everything.
I have something. Right? And so I felt like, okay, I contributed. They smiled, they laughed. I'm not the old hag auntie, but again, just to show love, and however that means, it is, especially in this season. Yeah. Like I said, it touched my heart. Y'all might say whatever y'all want about Nick Cannon, but him losing his son at 5 months.
Yeah. That was rough.
That touched me. Me trying too. To still do the show.
Me too.
He broke down a couple of times, and with anybody. I don't care if it was Nick Cannon. That's a 5-month-old child.
Absolutely.
That's no longer here.
Yeah.
Not only that, the Oxford High School. I mean, come on.
Man, let me tell you, we're in such a time that is so desperate. Um, my family, I had a cousin lose a baby a few years ago, and trying to come up with money to have a service for a baby that's just a few days old. Um, we started a foundation. It's called the Kyron Anthony Rose Jameson Foundation, where we pretty much pay for funeral expenses for families who lose a child under the age of 3. It's been so overwhelming in the past couple of months because it's so many babies dying like crazy. Like, we've been getting a lot of people who are just needing help to pay for funeral expenses. We just got a 4-month-old that passed away yesterday or day before. You know what I'm saying? And the funeral home calls and says, okay, the family doesn't have to pay for the funeral. Can you help? And I say that to say it just seems like now it feels like the younger generation is dying so much rapidly than the older generation. You know what I'm saying? And it really kind of makes you think like something's broken, and we got to figure out a way to fix it, because now we live in a world that is just broken. To see so many babies dying, it's unreal. And we're living in a time where we have to value. My daughter tells me all the time, I would rather have your time than a gift.
Absolutely.
She tells me that all the time, and it didn't hit until it hit for real. You know what I'm saying? And there were moments where I would feel so guilty because I just wouldn't show up. I wouldn't show up, with the grandkids, or if it was a family event, I wouldn't come because I'm dealing with my own stuff. And this year has really kind of taught me to value it a lot more. Value it so much more. I
Yeah,
watched Nick
because I
Cannon,
mean,
and
this,
it
the thing is, at any moment, of course, we already knew this, that you know, no one's life is promised.
no,
A minute you're here, the next minute you're gone, and it's more evident in the last 2 years than ever. And I've seen some things. I work in the clinic. A young lady came in the other day. She had on
mhm,
the coat, the baby probably less than 5 months old, didn't have a coat on, left out, and it was cold that night, didn't have shoes on. And it's like, honey, you know what I'm saying? Like, their immune system is not even developed yet. And it's super, super cold.
yeah,
Why don't this baby got on the coat? Why does this baby have on shoes? And here we are, if we're not being taught, if you have not learned it, what are you going to pass on? What are you
yeah,
doing? Um, our to sad to say, we threw the TV, we threw the phones at our kids, we threw the iPads, the leapfrogs, and all of this stuff instead of putting in the time.
mhm,
Go ahead
yeah,
and watch cartoons. You don't know what cartoons they watching.
yeah.
That really is not appropriate for kids.
It was not appropriate. You're right.
And so we don't have that time. And so we're tired, and I don't have time to deal with you and your attention tantrums and all of this. I'm gonna feed you and go to bed. And so
Yeah.
it is, we got to get back into spending that. I remember, like I said before, my parents were, both of them were working class. And I remember a lot of times We had to have dinner at the same table. It wasn't you eating in your room. We at the table. We're having conversation. What did you learn at school?
Oh wow.
How you feeling? What's going on? We had a family meeting. Okay, you're not doing your chores like I asked you to. What's going on? Da 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 da. What's the goals for the month? We had to read books
Yeah.
outside of what the school gave us. We had book reports to do for our
Mm-hmm.
parents.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't just TV time. We had to turn the TV off. We had a power hour where you had to get a book and read.
Yeah.
And so these values, we gotta put back in our kids.
Yeah.
And this pandemic, when them kids had to be at home and the parents had to teach them, oh, that was lovely.
You know what though? But I think a lot of the kids had to teach the parents, unfortunately, because the
Absolutely.
parents didn't know. The parents didn't know how to apply practical things to the work that them kids was doing because they left that responsibility up to the
To the
teacher.
teachers, which don't get paid enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, I mean, I'm I'm grateful for the opportunity that has been afforded for us to be able to have the hard conversations.
Yeah.
Yes, I do have, comedians come on the show. I have whoever wants to come on. But the whole point is to connect you
Yeah.
to that healing that's inside that need or that hurt that needs to come out.
Mm-hmm.
However, it comes away. I've seen people who didn't even know they was hurting until they start talking.
Oh yeah. I've had that a few times.
So
I've had
again,
that a few times.
we have to, stay on, as we say, stay on the wall,
Stay on the wall.
be the watchman, and still have these moments of conversations where you have to be vulnerable. I am an open book.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hide anything. I mean, I've said it on different shows about, those moments about your sexuality,
Mm-hmm.
about all of these things that um you just don't look like what you've been through.
Yeah.
And it's good because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, God is still faithful.
Mm-hmm.
And he will definitely turn your morning into day.
Oh
He
yeah.
would definitely, whatever the devil meant for evil, he'll definitely turn it around for your good.
I already know that for sure.
And
Oh wait.
so again, I'm excited to be a part of your story, to continue to push you to the next level. Where I'm looking at Anita Wilson, and I said, what? I gotta listen. I gotta come up. I
But
gotta come.
here's the thing though. I think the thing that I learned even in that is that they human just like us.
Absolutely.
They're
And they
human
got a
just like
story
us.
too.
They just have exposure. But they have the same issues, they have the same problems, they deal with the same stuff. We think these people are just we put them on a pedestal and they're just like us.
Absolutely. And I'm saying this, I mean, an hour go past so fast when you're having
It
fun,
does. It
when you're
does.
talking again. This was a long time in the waiting, but I'm glad it was at this moment
Yeah.
in time. I thought it was gonna be earlier, but God
Yeah.
had something totally different.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Again, congratulations on your book.
Thank you.
So just let the people know how to get in touch with you on social media and also to buy your book.
Yep. So you can actually, and I'm actually packaging books now, but you can reach me on all social media, Jervis Canty, or you can reach Jervis Canty and Friends for the podcast itself. We're going to be starting back after the first of the year. I was making a few transitions and changes with the show, but some great things are coming out of that. But you can follow me on social media. I'm always doing things, whether it be a showcase, whether it be whatever. writing a play, but you can buy the book. I have the books available. This book is $20. I'll mail it to you, ship it out to you, and or you can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon. Um, but yeah, just I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this season, because I'm a work in progress, and a lot of changes are coming out of the work that I'm doing.
Absolutely.
So, but thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
I'm just for us to be able to conversate is more than anything I could have bought, honestly.
Yeah.
Because again, the awards that I've seen that you listed, the places that you've been, the people that you have touched, I'm trying.
You're
And
doing, you're doing.
so
One thing I want you to really, really know, and something I had to learn, is that everybody has a path. And everybody has that season where we reach the people that we're supposed to reach. You know what I'm saying? We all have people that we're supposed to reach, that are assigned to be reached specifically by each one of us. And some people you may reach immediately, some people you may reach all the way down the line. But as long as you reach them, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in the place and the time that you're supposed to be doing it. You know what I'm saying? So be encouraged. If there's anything that I can help you with, I'm willing to do that. Anything, whatever you need, if I'm able to do it, I'll help. One of the things that I really pride myself on is helping people build their podcasts, helping people, because I created my own, and I would ask certain people for help and they wouldn't give it to me. And so I said, I will never be that person that won't help somebody get to where they are. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that, you got the formula because you do it. It's just a matter of looking at people like, okay, they human just like me. They ain't no better than I am. And I'm gonna send them this letter. And even if you want me to send you a letter, I can send you a letter edited specifically for you to send to people. Send that letter to those people and get a response. You're gonna be amazed at the people that will respond.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that we're here to build each other. And so maybe this was the right, well, not maybe, this was the right time.
Absolutely.
This was the appointed time for us to talk. But I'm telling you, anything I can help with, please. I'm so serious.
Okay.
I'm so serious.
And I'm about to I'm
Please,
gonna hold you to it.
I'm gonna give you several I'm gonna give you several pointers.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And it could be between me and you.
Absolutely.
Between me and you. Don't nobody need to know. Don't nobody need to know no details.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll hold you to it.
And you're gonna say, okay, it was much easier than I thought. I promise you, watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, again, the time is spent, but I enjoyed every minute with you.
Me too.
Again, I speak blessings upon you, and much success with the book, much success in the podcasting, and going into the new year is up from here. It's
Yeah.
up from here.
It really is. I'm so excited about the new year.
I am too.
I'm
I
so
got a couple of
excited.
upgrades coming.
Yeah. 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 So just, like I said, let me know and I'm here.
I
'Cause
got you.
I
Trust
think
me.
that when I come in contact with people, I'm like, we're family now. So it's a wrap.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
So,
again, thank you. And we'll be talking offline
okay.
some more. So like
Okay.
I said, I got some things I want to do differently for next year.
Gotcha.
And I'm so excited about it. So again, thank you for taking the time out this evening to talk with me at this appointed time. And I will see you soon, okay?
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You welcome.
Okay, talk to you soon.
All right.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye.